Hello, hello. Whew. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my Life After Lockup recap. I'm going to get started in a few minutes, so check the description box below to see when the recap will start. But I'm going to let people come into the room, so I have that good old interaction with folks. What time is it? Oh, it's a good time. I got a full hour to hang out with you guys. So come on into the room. Oh, good morning. Hello, Ramsterdam, Connie, JW, Aspasia, Vicky Vale. Hello. Who else is there? Did I say Amaya? K Rocket. Never seen your name before. Hello. Y'all, I totally forgot to do Family Chantel. One time, I know, I totally forgot to watch it. Didn't watch it till Wednesday night. And then after that, was like, Got a text message? Oh, great. Okay, just pulling up my notes. Marsha, hello, welcome. Heavenly, oh my God, these are people I do not know. Heavenly Gigi, hallelujah, welcome. Never seen your name before. Kelly, welcome. Never seen your name before. Hi, LaDonna. Lady, okay, never seen you before. Never seen you before. Hello. Oh, well, Kelly, I hope that you have a speedy recovery. Wishing you all the best. Let's wish Kelly all the best, you guys. Whew. Oh, you're from the Netherlands as well. Super Sailor, Sailor Moon, Sailor Mars, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Jupiter. Oh, y'all, I just like after watching Sean lie and gaslight her, all I kept thinking was, I want to be in a relationship with somebody who looks at me in the face and tells me a lie. What would I do? Not only tells me a lie, but like lies about what in fact just happens, doubles down on it, makes a stank face at me like I'm the crazy idiot, and then continuously says things like, obviously I didn't mean that. Well, obviously I heard the question wrong. And no, I didn't. Like that behavior, I want to beat him up. Like as soon as, okay, this is what I want. Here's the fantasy. As soon as he goes, no, I didn't, I want two thugs to come out of nowhere, grab him by both of his arms, pin him up against the wall, the tree, a hard surface, and I want somebody to have like a fist towards his face and go, say no, I didn't, one more time. Sean, just repeat what really happened. What really happened, Sean? And if he's like, well, I misunderstood. What really happened, Sean? Well, I thought what really happened, Sean? Okay, I said I didn't want more kids. Okay, the thugs just disappear. I want that to be every single time he's about to gaslight. Every time. And I just every time. Every time. I mean, it's what needs to happen because he's not. It's a natural defense mechanism. This is the Jorge from 90 Day Fiance syndrome, like Corey from 90 Day Fiance syndrome. There are just people out there who cannot help but lie, and it is even worse when it is the man who is trying to be the head of the household who cannot stop himself from doing that. That is a learned behavior from childhood that needs to be forcefully beat out of men. Like, and listen, I know I'm being violent and everyone's gonna be like, oh, you're so violent, blah, blah, blah. But like, the damage that they do to the other person, to me, is what justifies that behavior. Because she says, Sean, that's not what happened. Sean, you said how'd you feel? Sean, and he just tries to turn it around and make it like she's the wrong one. I'm going to close this window because I'm getting hot and it's like 42 degrees or something. I shouldn't be hot. I should be cozy. Oh, so much better. Here, let me see if I turn this light on. What happens? Okay, this is better. Anyways, let's get started. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of Life After Lockup, Season 3, Episode 57. I plead the fifth. If you guys would love to donate to the baby fund, you can do so down below. Super chats are disabled because unfortunately YouTube takes a certain percent that I feel is too much. So for those of you guys who are international and don't have Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle, I thank you so much. Just don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and thank you for wanting to give. Otherwise, let's jump into this episode. Don't forget to share on any social media platform that you deem fit. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. I never tell people to subscribe, but I think y'all should subscribe. If you would like to join the conversation as a live guest, please go ahead and email me at justcallmewah. I will send you the link. You can be, you can have a visual or you cannot have a visual. If you have an opposing opinion or you just want to say what's up, please go ahead and email me. Okay. Let's jump into this and let's talk about our first couple. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning and let's talk about this fool. So let's talk about Dante and Nicole. Okay. So in this segment, Dante is hanging out with his mother and his friend, and he has told these folks that he's really thinking of crashing Nicole's wedding, that he earnestly feels that the reason why she even came up with his job to tell him about this wedding is so that he could save her, which is a complete, did I say last episode that he, wants to be driving a Batmobile and flying with a cape on? You know what I'm saying? He wants to be jumping out of buildings, shooting people in the eye with bow and arrow. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be a superhero. Like, he's like, T'Challa, please call me. Marvel, please call me. DC, please call me. I would like to be there. And so his friend's like, that sounds so dumb. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to dress up in a wedding dress? You're going to be a bridesmaid? Why are you even going to go? And he's like, y'all just don't understand. It's different voices in my head. One voice is telling me I should go because she wants me to be there and I need to save her. And then he going to tell his mother that he truly believes that Nicole is being manipulated by Allie Turner. Thank you so much for the Cash App. I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you. So he's going to tell his mother that, Tia is manipulating Nicole, and that Nicole is reaching out to him and begging him for assistance, and he's going to be there for her. He's going to give it to her. And I'm just like, sir, that is absolutely not what is happening. That's not what's happening, sir. You have just made this up. And his mother's like, I'm sick of him wanting these little girls who just need help. But he's like, why? The mother says, why can't you tell that she's manipulating you? That from the moment you came out, the only relationship you have with Nicole was between your debit card and her. And they're bringing up a lot of good points. And then Derek finally is like, you know what, man, I've been married 3 times. And the wedding is supposed to be the most memorable day for these women. And I'm going to say, go on ahead and go over there and mess up her memorable day. I want you to go over there and mess up her memorable day for all the days that she has messed up for you. And I said, this petty old bald-headed Negro, you've been married 3 times? And it bothers me that wedding days aren't important for men. That they make it seem like, yeah, it was her day, it wasn't my day. That whole concept bothers me. It bothers me, and I don't know why. I don't want to go into it right now, but listen, I don't think anything's wrong with being married multiple times. I feel like there are some people who, instead of just staying in a relationship, like, I feel like there are some people who truly feel like if you're going to be living with someone, you should be married to them. I feel like that's what Elizabeth Taylor thought. Like, there's a certain stigma put on women, and some women, whether or not they recognize it or not, have fallen into that stigma or have fallen into the fantasy. I had a friend who thought that you had to get married because if you didn't get married, then you weren't really serious about your relationship. And I was like, wow, I don't believe that at all. I would feel like signing a piece of paper saying that you guys are one business entity does not necessarily, add the real practical. I don't know. But anyways, so, and then there's some people who feel like if you're going to be living with someone, you might as well be married to them. It might as well be legal or sanctioned or whatever. And so they get married every single time. I personally don't necessarily hold as much value to marriage, but I hold value to divorce. And so to me, I'm like, why do it if you aren't just, why frivolously do it? It feels frivolous to do it more than 2 times. It just feels to me frivolous. But I'm not telling anybody how to live their lives, and I'm not saying that anybody's wrong for doing it however they want to do it. Live your life. Do what you got to do. I don't care. Just for me, it couldn't be my path. And so part of me judges him because he wants Dante to just go there and ruin her day. And then while I don't think Nicole is worth anyone's time, I do think that that's petty and just messy for no reason. So anyways, the mother is just hoping that Dante is going to make good decisions, but we all know that he is not. So, sorry, I've been drinking so that's a little bit. Hi, Clementine. Hi, Linda B. Hi, Talinha. Hello from Tokyo, or hello to Tokyo. And anybody else come in? Shavetta, hello, welcome. All right. Okay, Linda, a marriage is a covenant that few people are prepared to mutually be responsible to that covenant. Yeah, and also I feel like marriage has changed because women are allowed to work and women don't have to suffer through marriages and stay in ill content, or people don't have to suffer through marriages and stay ill content just because, like, I think that there are equally just as many unhappy married men as there are unhappy married women. I just think that men had more options, whereas women didn't financially and with children and whatnot. And then at a certain point, there are some men who just like don't know how to wash their own clothes or cook their own food. So it's like, if I get rid of this person, who's going to help me do those things? Hi, Dorothy, welcome. And so like, I just feel like both people end up being super, not indebted, but leaning on each other to where they don't know how to get out of something, but they're not emotionally being fulfilled. And maybe that kind of emotional fulfillment is a Western idea. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Thanks, Aspasia. I am cozy. I'm actually going out to meet with a subscriber. I've been invited to the Mohawk territory of Montreal. Well, really, I've been invited to a slice of the Mohawk territory that is still allowed to be theirs. But really, we are all on Mohawk territory. But anywho, so I haven't been invited, and I'm gonna go buy some teas, and I'm so excited. So I'm gonna have some really cozy nights tonight with my tea made naturally from those amazing Mohawk indigenous folk. I'm so excited about that. So, anywho, let's move on from Dante. I was just really disgusted by Derek. I mean, I know it makes good TV, but like in practical sense and in sense of like being human to human, I think it was really shitty. So, the next couple that we are going to talk about are Britney and Ray. And so the first segment we have is Britney helping Ray plan an outfit to see her mother. And she was like, don't put on those pants because they're too busy, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? This makes me sad that he has to dress a certain way to impress her mother. But also those pants were ugly. So either way it goes, I'm glad they weren't worn. And then so he finally picks like a collared demure outfit or whatever. And the mother walks in the house and is like, hello, Ray, nice to finally meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I was like, Diane, you've already met this man. What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't like that. I don't like the pretending like you haven't already met him. And she's like, oh, it smells good in here. And Brittany's like, yeah, we both cook for you. And then so Ray gives a beer to the dad, and then the mother sits down with this wig on and tries to interrogate him. And I said, ma'am, you have the audacity, okay? You have the audacity to come into anyone's house with this wig on. And I know Britney is not the best with the wigs either, but help your mother out. You know your mother's going to be on TV. Help her out. It is a shame that this woman who puts herself so hoity-toity above Ray can sit here with this outfit on and judge this man. Okay? She walks in with some ripped, distressed black jeans, a church blazer made from a suspiciously thin polyester rayon blend material, pearls. I mean, like, I guess what happened is they were like, oh, if you're going to come to film, wear jewel tones. And she was like, bet, I will wear muted jewel tones, and I will wear red. And I will wear this wig. Okay? And maybe the only reason why I feel like I'm going to go in on Diane is because I don't like the pretense. I don't like the uppityness. Because I feel like if you're going to be uppity, then dress uppity. Okay? If you're going to be bougie, your wig better be bougie too. And that wig is not bougie, okay? That wig is one step up from Michael the Vampire's mother's attached ponytail. Okay, so she's like, well, where did you grow up? And he like names a bougie town. And she's like, really? You grew up there and this is the outcome? Who your peoples is? How'd you get here? You know, what'd you do? And she's like, I have 100 questions. So she asks all these awkward questions and also questions that I'm like, why do you even need the answer to this? Like, so you robbed pharmacies? Like, this woman is acting like this man ran up in someone's home. And he's like, well, it wasn't a robbery. It was a burglary. There was no guns. I didn't go there when it was open. It was at night. And she was like, oh, so at no point did you think like this is not the way to go? And I said to myself, you know what? It's one thing to armed robbery somebody or like put people in danger. It's another thing to break into a CVS and steal some drugs. Okay? At least the crime that he was doing was a crime that wasn't going to hurt anybody. And then he's selling the drugs wholesale. I wish that he had said, like, you know what, my mother, he tried to explain or kind of explain the fact that his mother had died early, but he didn't truly explain to her, at least in that segment that we saw, what had happened and what led to this. They were just so shocked. Like, they have never heard of anything like that. So you didn't think that the fast money was going to run out. And so he's like, yeah, I got caught after a year and a half. And they're like, oh, you got caught quick. And I'm like, so isn't that not good? So he didn't do it for very long. And he only went to prison for 4 years. I'm not saying that that's a short amount of time, but it's not the most. And so then they start talking about, you know, you didn't think this wasn't right. You didn't like, you know, your moral compass wasn't on. I'm just like, you guys, I don't know how old Ray is, but he was in his early 20s when he started doing this. He was on drugs himself. His mother had a crazy death. As he got older, it started to really affect him negatively. His family didn't know what to do about it. And he ended up burglarizing CVS's. I find that it's much worse if he had got a gun and like robbed people. Then I could see them looking at him sideways. But at least he had the wherewithal to not burglarize like people, you know? Maybe I'm mincing things or whatever, but that's just the way I think about it. So he's sitting on the couch awkwardly, and Brittany's just sitting next to him, mouth closed because she'll never got nothing to say when her mother's around. And he ends up telling them about his restitution in 142K. And she was like, "Oh my God, that's like a really good university, And I said, "You know what? There are people who are paying." You're right, Miss Diane. There are people who are paying 142K in restitution, and there are people who are paying 142K in school bills and student loans. And I know you think one is better than the other, and maybe from the back end or from a certain angle it is. But guess what? Those two people still have to pay $142 out of their, they have to pay off $142,000 over the course of several years. They still have to pay it. And it's not like maybe if you have a good job, if you're a lawyer or a doctor or something where you can pay that 142K. I had friends who did it, and she actually paid it off in a year and a half, only because her and her husband, who are both lawyers, lived in a studio apartment and budgeted for a year and a half. And I think she paid them like $3K a month so she could get out of debt faster. But many people don't. Many people are still in debt 10 years after they've gotten out of college because they're just like, "I'm not going to pay for it." So to me, it's not like it is bad, the circumstance in which the 42 has laid on his head, and will he make it enough as whatever he's doing as a lawyer will? But like, there are people who are not lawyers who owe that much money back. There are people who got a degree in sociology or got a degree in social work or got a degree in something that isn't going to yield a lot of money early on in their career, and they're saddled with debt too. So I was just like, let's just see it as debt. It's debt. It's debt. It happens. However it comes upon you, you still got to pay it. It's not like it's good debt or bad debt. It's still debt. So when he says that he needed to pay it a monthly or else he might go back to prison, Brittany's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And I said, "Brittany, shut up. Shut up, Brittany." Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. Thank you for that Cash App. I said, "Shut up, Brittany." I didn't know that. Girl, what you think was going to happen if he didn't pay that restitution back? And now all of a sudden she's so concerned. And I said, "You know what? You can be concerned. Just go get you a lawyer before you get married. Period." And then they asked the mother if that's what she should do. And the mother's like it's shameful. I said, "It's nothing shameful about you going to get a lawyer or getting a prenup so that you don't have to be responsible for that 142K. Now, I feel like if Brittany loves Ray the way she says she loves him, then she should just go ahead and help him pay that bill down." And then they're like, "Oh, well, does that prevent you from buying a house? Like, what does that prevent you from doing?" And I said, "You guys, this is now too much. It's too much. You're too much in his business." At this point, Brittany's a grown person. And if she chooses to be with somebody whose credit is terrible, right? If that is not a prerequisite for even getting in a relationship, if somebody being straight out of prison is not a prerequisite for Brittany to get into a relationship with them, then what does his what is his credit score or his ability to, I don't know, buy a house have to do with anything? She's already gotten with a man who's just out of prison, who is literally on parole. She has to take whatever comes with that at this point. She's a grown woman, just like me. If I'm going to enter into a relationship with somebody and I don't do my due diligence to ask them about their finances, I'm making a choice. Okay? If I'm going to marry somebody with a 550 credit score, I am making a choice. And I just have to live with that choice. Now, I wouldn't, I'm saying, we're going to have that conversation. I'm going to see what your credit is like. And I'm not going to marry you if your credit is bad, because I'm not taking on that debt. I got my own debt to worry about. I'm not playing with these men out here. Okay, so then the next segment of them is Britney deciding that she wants to do something big for her birthday and she wants to act like a normal couple and she really wants Ray to go. She wants him to contact his PO, figure out whether or not he can go to Miami to hang out with her and her friends. And she just wants to do things like normal couples do. And this makes me mad. I don't know why. I'm being petty. I'm being spiteful and hateful. That it makes me mad. Because I'm like, I plan my birthdays to do what I want by myself at all times. And people can come if they want to, but I'm not orchestrating any big whatever for my birthday. And if I do orchestrate a big whatever, it's for me to go by myself to do it. Okay. If I'm going to go to Cancun for my birthday, I'm going with or without people. Okay. If I'm going to go to Vegas for my birthday, I'm going with or without people. If I'm going to the DR for my birthday, I'm going with or without people. I don't need you there. And so it bothers me that she's like, well, I want you to come so we can hang out like a normal couple. And then I want all my friends to come. Like, that sounds like a nightmare to me. No, that sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. I would never agree to that if I were Ray. I'm like, listen, if you want to celebrate your birthday with your homegirls, then go to Miami and celebrate your birthday with your homegirls. And then when you get back, you and I will celebrate your birthday here with just me and you. I'm not going to an all-girls party. No, absolutely not. This just sounds ridiculous to me. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't want anything to do with it. But anyways, I was mad that she was like rolling her eyes about the parole officer and the fact that they have to go through certain, jump through certain hoops in order for things to happen. And she's just like rolling her eyes as though he can snap his fingers and make it all change. Excuse me. Again, Britney, you married somebody or you got in a relationship with somebody straight out of prison. Your wants, your fantasies, your desires are going to have to be laid to rest until he is up from underneath the state or the federal or whatever it is. And it just is annoying because she seems so like out of it. Like she seems so not grounded and not with it. And it's I hate to say this, but she just seems so, like it's like she is not aware of what world she's living in right now. Like, I just don't get it. It's like, but I want it. And I don't understand. I don't understand why, like, I can't. And I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Anyways. Oh, hello. There's a lot more people. Shannon Van is here. Oh, Rico DeBrat. Never seen you before. Hello. Hello. Jaja. Hello. Lolo. Hello. Toya from Harlem. Whew. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Who's this brown-eyed rocker babe? Hello. Danielle Full. Hello. Welcome to the room, everyone. I just don't know. It bothers me. It's just like, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Okay. So then now here's the next stupid thing on the very top of her wanting him to figure out how he can get to Miami for her birthday, even though he's on parole. She's like, I'm hoping that this is the great opportunity that he's going to have to propose to me. And I hope to leave a girlfriend and come back a fiance. And I said, now this is too much. Why don't you just tell this man? Why don't you just propose to him? It's like, you know what? I had a friend who did this in college. So because of her faith as a Christian, she felt that the longest she should be somebody's boyfriend is a year. And I don't know if it was just her denomination of Christianity. I don't know if this was just the expectation in her. Maybe I don't know if she was non-denominational, but I don't know. Maybe it was just like an expectation of her world of Christianity. But she earnestly felt that, because, okay, let me back up. So the first guy she was in a relationship was a officer of the law, and she was really proud to be with him, but he wasn't Christian, and she really loved him, and they were together for 4 years on and off. And she felt that the reason why their relationship didn't work is because she wasn't walking with him in Christ. She wasn't doing her Christ walk with him. And all of her other friends who had been in relationships started around the same time her were all getting married, engaged, or married already. And so she felt that the reason why she wasn't married, like the rest of her church friends, was because she had made the wrong choice in men. So she got over that. She broke up with him. She finally cleansed her palate. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to hook you up with my friend Aaron. Aaron is a great guy. And he's Christian, he's Catholic, but he's not, you guys believe Jesus. Great. Let's move on to that. So I was like, okay. So let me hook you two up because you guys are great. He's a great guy. Like, you deserve a great guy. So they're together and they're not having sex before marriage, even though she had sex with the police officer, but they're not having sex before marriage because he's like real devout. So he's not going to have sex, and he's going to open her doors for her, and he's going to, pay for everything and be supportive because he comes from a 2-parent Latino Catholic household, and it's very wholesome. He's still living with his parents at 24. Like, it's all very wholesome, right? And I said, you are a wholesome man. She's a wholesome girl sometimes when she wasn't with this heathen. And now let's get her back on the wholesome path. After a year, she started basically demanding that they get married, that he proposed. And it wasn't just like to him, it was to all of us, all of our friend group. We all knew that she wanted to be married. And she then, so he acquiesced, and he did, because he was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're supposed to do this. After a year, this is our walk in Christ. And he even switched over to Christian, which apparently was a big fucking deal. And I did not know that it was going to be that big of a deal. His parents really felt that him going from Catholic to whatever denomination of Christianity she was. I mean, it couldn't have been anything crazy. She might have been non-denominational, like, whatever. I don't know. Was it Episcopalian? Was it Lutheran? Who knows? So like, so he switched over and then engaged, and they ended up getting divorced because I've told you stories about them before. I'm not going to link them, but yeah, they ended up getting divorced. But my thing is that because she felt that after a year, they needed to be engaged because they both believed in Jesus and they both were walking in Christ, and that they were brought together, because of God, that it was appropriate to force an engagement after a year and then force a marriage 6 months later. Like, or a year later, I think it was a year, because of her dream venue or what the fuck ever. And like, that is what bothers me. Like, I understand a girl not wanting to be a girlfriend for longer than 4 years, unless you guys have talked about it and you're like, I'm not going to get married until I have a stable job and I can afford to buy us a house. Like, if you're having conversations throughout your non-engagement ship about marriage, and if you guys are going to be married, like, that to me makes sense. But forcing an engagement because you feel like it's time is weird to me. You need to have a very serious conversation about whether or not that person wants to marry. And if they don't, then you need to leave. Like, that's what needs to happen. But a forced engagement, or like, well, we've been together for X amount of time and I want to start having kids, and that means that I need to be married by this time, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's too much. It's too much. But anyways, I just feel like I was really annoyed with the whole situation. And it reminds me of that. And I don't think anybody should be forced into marriage just because of time. You should talk about it, is what you should do. So, anyways, he's helping her pack to go to Miami, and she's got all of the clear plastic sandals and shoes and heels. She gets on the phone, has a conversation with her homegirl about like this dress that she wore at one birthday celebration, and she really treats herself for her birthday. And I feel her on that. Treat yourself, girl. Treat yourself. Okay, next couple that we're going to talk about is Lacey's never looked so bad, and Shane. Lacey's lost some weight, guys. She's not happy. She slept on the couch. This is after their therapy session. I guess they were going to try to do things to make it better. It didn't end up working out. They have the cutest baby, though. I kept trying to get snapshots of this baby. This baby looks like Shane, I feel. She's so cute. Summer Rain. So we've got her here, and then we've got her here. It's the same dress. However, it's different. Look how much, look at her, look at the lips, right? The lipstick is different. The hair is different. I think that she's lost weight. She's kind of going through it. Look at her. She's wearing the same dress though, right? So you might not have noticed that it's a different day of this ITM. But this is the one we've been seeing this entire season. This is the one we've been seeing the entire season. And then in this episode, we get this one. And I was like, oh, mama, she done lost the weight. Even here, she looks thinner. So remember like 7 months ago or several months ago, there was a video going around with her and John like in a convertible car, like making out and like being kissy together. Apparently that happened the day after Shane was arrested. I don't know. Someone told me here that Shane killed her dog, but after this, it spiraled. After their argument and where she said she didn't love him and she felt abandoned by him and she didn't want to be with him anymore, it spiraled out of control. Even in this scene right here, after seeing this baby, I was like, how is Shane not picking this child up? How is this cutie patootie, okay? This bundle of cutie sack potatoes, this cutie little chubby cheeked chub monster. How do you see that baby sitting anywhere and you don't want to pick her up and snuggle her? And Shane didn't the entire segment. And now I'm not to say that he didn't ever, but I'm like, how is Summer in that bouncer? Because I don't know that I would have been able to see that little chunky monkey sitting there and I wouldn't reach for that chunk of monk. And that's not even my baby. So I just was like, maybe he really doesn't have a connection. Because we see scenes of the baby in the bouncer, we see scenes of the baby in her hands, but we never see not one moment of that baby in her daddy's hands. And that makes me so sad. And he says that he feels really bad for the fact that they brought Summer into this world and that their parents aren't getting along. And that's something that he never had. And I said, that pathology is real strong. And it makes me so sad. The only silver lining out of this is if Shane has any other kids, he's only 23 right now. Maybe after these troubles, he'll be able to get some therapy, get some help, and turn his life around and possibly be a better dad when he's in his 30s. Because him not helping her with Summer Rain, him asking her to have a child and they go through IVF together, and then now I don't blame him for having depression because either the chemical, I mean, listen, there was this meme going around on Instagram a friend of mine put up and it was like, listen, when I figure out the chemical imbalance in my brain, it's over for you hoes. And I said, listen, the same thing for me. As soon as I figure it out, it's over. Now, am I trying to figure it out with medication? No. But like, I get depression. I get it. But I don't ever, it's hard for me to think of it from a man's perspective because like, I'm a woman, but I get it. And I just feel like, damn, you didn't even hold your baby. Your own flesh and blood. You can't even keep it together for your own flesh and blood. I just really feel like once I have children, like my brain will go into overtime, and I think that I will become even more crazier. Like, because I'm like, life is now precious. I need to defend myself. I need to defend my family. Like right now, I'm together, but I'm still very loosey goosey. Like I'm still very much like, you know what? I'm in a foreign country. Let's just go meet up a stranger. Like, you know what? I'm in a foreign country. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drive 3.5 hours into the woods and stay in a cabin by myself. I don't speak the language, but I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's not something that I would do if I had children. I'm like, you know what? This is my 35th birthday. I'm going to Cancun by myself. Like, I am that person. I do take chances. I am a little reckless. Like, I'm not crazy reckless, but I'm reckless a little bit. But when I have kids, oh no, I'm like staying in the house. I'm driving slow, 65 miles an hour all day, every day. Like, I'm getting a big car. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making, I will have a security camera. I will learn to shoot a gun, and I will get a baseball bat. Like, I am fully prepared to be crazy to protect me and my family in a way that I am not right now. And I cannot imagine having that kid and then just not doing that because of depression. That would piss me off. And it feels like that's what happened to Shane, and I feel real terrible for him. She didn't want to talk about it when something went down, but she dropped her kids off at her dad's house, which PS is an absolute blessing. Lacey is so lucky that she has her dad who's stable, that she could drop her kids off at any time so that she could go through her mess alone. Because so many people do not have that. And so many people's children are very much privy to their parents' bullshit. So, as much as her kids will obviously be able to see Love After Lockup and recount this, they're not going to see it now. And so, at least for the time being, they're protected. And I think that's smart of her. Okay, so she's laid up on the couch and she doesn't really want to talk to producers about what happened, I think because of legal matters. But something happened with Shane and she hooked up with John. And then something happened with Shane. They got into a huge fight. Shane asked her about John. She told him the truth. He flew off the handle. Something happened. And then she ended up hanging out with John the next day. And she doesn't want to talk about it. And she's lost a lot of weight. And I feel bad for the whole situation. I like it when I see them taking advantage of the show as a comeuppance. I love the fact that their OnlyFans might have blown up because of the show. I appreciate that. I like the way that Britney and Marcelino have done well for the show, and for the show to have not done well for Lacey and Shane. That makes me sad because at the end of the day, as much as I talk shit about all of them, I want everybody to make their coin, live their lives, and have this be a stepping stone for the next thing in their progression. Like if Ray could pay off half of his restitution from cameos and whatever else from this show, I would be fully happy for them. You know what I'm saying? If Ray and Brittany wanted to get OnlyFans and they made the money to pay off his restitution, it works. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I want for everybody. I want for everybody to have a honey boo boo come up from their reality show. Now, not the consequences, but the come up. That's what I want. Okay, so let's move off of them and let's move on to Puppy and Amber. So we've got a scene where Puppy goes over to her mother's house to see her finally. Oh, her mother has been through it, girl. Chemotherapy. Look at her hair. It's thinned out compared to what it was when we first saw her. And she ends up telling her mother that she has a warrant out because while she was in the hospital, one of the neighbors told her PO that she wasn't living there. And the mother was like, well, you got to turn yourself in. And Puppy's like, I want to be responsible. I want to do what adults do, but I don't want to go to prison. I feel like they got all out of me that they should have. And I said, I don't know what world this woman is living in. This outlaw mentality, it's like, Matt, I'm an outlaw. Like, I don't understand the world that these folks are living in, the privilege that they have to believe that they could just be doing whatever they want to do and there's no consequences to them and they'll just run. Listen, I'm not opposed to people running because they don't want to go back to prison. But how often does it truly work for you to just be on the run for all your life? Especially when you're on a reality TV show. I'm so confused. How are you going to be on the run and on a reality TV show? I don't know how viciously they go after people who break parole because they moved into another house. But like, are they gonna really come after Puppy? Who knows? But her mom has gone through too much. And really Puppy is very selfish. And she even names herself as being selfish. And she even says that, that it's hard for her to spend time with her mother when her mother isn't feeling well, and that's on her, and that she's bad for that. But at this moment she needs to spend some time with her mom because she has questions about what she should do. Her mother says turn herself in, and she's just like, no. I'm like, what, girl? What? How else are you gonna not have this 2 year bid over your head? So we said, Puppy's like, listen, I'm gonna run for my freedom. I'm a runner, I'm a track star. You know what I'm saying? So she goes back home and she calls up Amber and tells Amber about the situation. And Amber's at work, and so they're just FaceTiming, and she's like, my mom says I have to turn myself in. And Puppy's like, and Amber's like, oh. And I really do feel like she should turn herself in too. See what happens, you know? And so Amber's like, hey girl, I gotta go back to work, but best of luck with all that. And Amber's like, well, now that you're not drunk, you don't even want to talk to me. And I get Amber. She's like, yeah, it was last night. You can stay. Okay. I gotta go back to work. And so then she tells her boyfriend about it. This old red-eyed individual. This man is high on something, first of all, or drunk, or both. So she's at the house hanging out, and he's like, why is the door open? And she's like, I left it open for you. Like, what are you coming in here arguing with me for? And he's just like, oh, I just wanted to know, what are you doing? And she's just like, nothing. So she's on her phone, and then he ends up text messaging her while she's on her phone, while they're sitting 2 centimeters away from each other. He text messages her and asks her if she would marry him. And she pops up and she's just like, you won't marry me? And she's like, well, why would you ask me like that? And he's like, well, I got this ring for you and it's too small for me. And she's like, let me see it. So then she reaches over and he puts the ring on her finger, and she goes and she sits in his lap, and she's just really happy that somebody wants to spend time with her, that somebody wants to be her ride or die. And I'm happy for her too. She's like, this is the first time anybody has ever proposed to me. Now, I'm not happy about this person because I feel like this guy is like rat trash. Like, I feel like this person is, and he's like, listen, we got to go on the run. We got to go on the run. And I said, okay, I see you, ride or die. I see you. I see you, ride or die. I see it, and I do see it. So I'm happy for her. But at the same time, I'm just like, he's like, yeah, she can't go back to prison. We got to go. They ain't gonna find us on the other side of the world. And I was like, y'all got passports? What you mean on the other side of the world? He didn't say other side of the country, y'all. He said other side of the world. And I was like, right now you live like mid-east of this country. Where are you going to go? Because the other side of the world is like Bangladesh. Where are you going? Where are you going? Y'all not going anywhere. You don't have a job, sir? How are you going to make money? How are you going to sustain yourself? Are y'all going to Laos? Where are you going on the other side of the world? Is where in the world are you going? If he said, if we just go up to the Appalachian Mountains and be with my people, I say, okay, I get you there. But otherwise, sir, where are you going? But anyway, so that's the end of their segment. The next couple that we are going to talk about. Oh, that's it. Let's talk about this last one that really pissed me off. Did I get everybody? Yes, I did. All right. Girl. So we got Sarah. Now, I don't know. Let's talk about time. Here's the tea. Here's the drama. When they're filming this, notice that mama has a coat on. Okay? It's cold outside. There's still snow on the ground. When they film this, Mama's got on shorts and sandals and there's no snow on the ground. So the scene where she's crying about having kids is after, or it's before where she moves in. So they've given us a mixed up chronological timeline here. So we've got to put that into perspective. I know y'all was saying that she's pregnant right now. This was filmed the beginning of 2021. I didn't see any Christmas decorations up. I don't recall. And if we did, then it was probably the tail end of Christmas. Because when she got out of prison, she wasn't wearing a coat. So I want to say that she got out of prison maybe August, September of 2020. Right? And then when she goes to his house to finally spend the night, it might have been January 2021. And then when she finally moves in with him, she's in shorts and sandals. So I'm going to say this is probably May of 2021, right? Because think about it. Spring in most places usually means rain. Like in California, spring is like 85 degrees, no rain in sight. Like it rains maybe like March in California, and then that's it. So like, but they're in Ohio, which is different, and they've got true seasons there. So my thought is that if she's wearing sandals and short shorts, that it is probably definitely like May, June. It's closer to summer. And if she's bundled up and there's snow sticking to the ground, it's January. Because usually that's the coldest month for any cold weather city. Cold January, and then February it's cold, it's snow and rain. But it's still cold for Valentine's Day. Okay. So anyways, I just wanted to say that. So this point, when we're seeing her crying upset, he's gaslighting her. This is when this is a second layer of gaslighting. Because remember, the first layer of gaslighting is when he's like, well, what did you want me to tell you? The truth? You wanted me to tell you that I had 6 kids and I'd been married and I already dated somebody who I was engaged to from prison? Like that fight last time was annoying, but it was also during the winter. Okay, so let's talk about it. So in the show, it is clearly a hot time, and she's decided that she's going to go on ahead and move in with Sean, her and Abby. So they move into Sean's place, and she's putting pictures together. He's put together a bed set for like a treehouse bed for Abby. Abby helps him put the sheets on with her sandals on, which is very upsetting to me. But I don't have to sleep in her bed, so I won't worry about it. And then, little children in their dirty little beds. I can't. And then the next scene is, I think nothing happens after that. Then we go to this where he lies. So then they have their like little confessional segment where she's sitting there. And producers ask him, Sean, do you want more kids? And he says, and this is not verbatim, but this is basically again on my memory. He says, well, I don't know if, we're really planning on having kids. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I've already got 6 kids, so. And her reaction is, oh. And she like gets upset. And she's like trying to hold back tears, but she can't. And I have a sneaky suspicion based on the conversations that they're having outside after she gets up and walks out, is that she thinks she might be pregnant, or she is pregnant at this point. And so for him to say that he doesn't want to have kids, and if it happens, it happens, kind of makes her feel bad. And also, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they have had a conversation about having kids, and because he does lip service and just wants to tell her whatever it is that she wants to hear in order to get her to stay, he just lied and said, yeah, I want more kids. But whenever I think of these women, whenever I think about a woman who takes on a man who has more than 3 children, 4 or more, and then they want to have more children with that man, I think to myself, what quality of life do you think you're going to have as his wife if he has several children to pay for? Now, unless the man is like a white collar professional and makes 150K a year, then I can be like, okay, I could see you thinking that maybe, even if he does pay child support like out of his checks, like, and you work and you're a white collar professional as well, y'all could still have a decent life. You're strapped for cash until all those kids are 18, monthly. And then after that, it's on a voluntary basis. But I just think to myself, you were asking yourself for a world of trouble. And while Sean may not be paying for his oldest two kids, he still has four other children, plus Abby. And now you want to add another child to the mix? Sean is going to then be responsible for another six kids again, not including his oldest two. I know he makes a decent living, but does he make that decent of a living to where you're like, I would like to have another kid? Or maybe that's Sarah. Maybe Sarah just feels like, listen, I'm just going to let a man take care of me because I am not going to be able to go back to school right now because of all of my legal matters. Maybe she has restitution as well. Like maybe she's got a lot going on to where her idea of even like moving on and getting a career is kind of on hold right now. And so the thing that she can do is have children, which is what Britney did. Like I feel like Britney didn't have anything else to do because she was on parole or having to deal with like she couldn't get a job and all that stuff. So she needed Marcelina to take care of her and take care of the bills, and like the one thing she could contribute was a life. And so she did. But as soon as she was able to like figure stuff out, she did. She got a realtor's license. So I don't know if that is her plan. When I say her, I mean, what's her name? I don't know the girl's name. What's her name? Sarah. I don't know if that's Sarah's plan, but it feels like it is. Amanda, thank you so much. Amanda says, I feel bad that Sarah thinks she can't do better than Sean. She could have, but he had to swoop in and further cause this. Is there more to this? I gotta look in Cash App or that. But thank you so much for that. Is that Venmo, perhaps? Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Venmo. Thank you so much for that Venmo. So yeah, I just feel bad for her. I do. I agree with you. I feel bad. Oh, here we go. Kelly better hit him with court-ordered child support. Sean and Sarah are married and his debts are now hers. Oh yeah, I really do think Kelly should. Like I mean, here's the truth. Like and I hate to say this for the new mother, and I don't know how many of you are not new mother, but new wives. I don't know how many out there are new wives. But if I have more than one child with a man and we don't work out because of him, let me just tell you right now, I'm somebody who's gonna figure it out. If we don't work out, it's because of you. Now, if we don't work out for certain reasons, I wouldn't necessarily go after them for child support. I would just expect them to do what they need to do. But honestly, if you aren't doing what you need to do and then you go and get another wife or get a girlfriend and another child, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go after you for child support. I do not trust that a man who laid down and purposefully had a child with me and then we don't work out and then he goes on and finds somebody else and has children with her, I don't trust at all that he is going to make my child a priority or add my child to the top priorities in his life. So I would go after them for child support. And I think Kelly should go after Sean for child support, because that's the only way that she's going to be fairly compensated and helped out with these kids. Because if he's starting families with other people, that is irresponsible. You already have obligations to me and our children, and you have upped and moved out of the state. So even your physical presence is no longer there to help out. I can no longer send my kids to stay with you for the weekend or for half the week. I personally feel that you should have a 50-50 with your children. That it should be 50-50. That I don't believe in weekends. I don't believe in that. I believe in Wednesday through Sunday, Sunday through Wednesday. That is what I believe. Like I don't believe I don't believe in it. I think that you should have them 50% of the time. Nobody should be moving anywhere because we made these children. Now, unless there's a crazy job opportunity, and you need to move, okay, but I'm still getting you for child support. Like, if it just is what it is. So that's the way I feel about it. Anyways, so let's get back to the gaslighting. So he says that she gets upset, then they go outside, and he 100% tries to wiggle his way out of this by lying and gaslighting her, by telling her, and this is her face when she's talking to him. I'm right here. I'm getting up to go get something. When she's talking to him about what he said, what he didn't say, this grown man is gonna sit here and tell her that he must have misunderstood the question. And she says, you didn't misunderstand the question, Sean. You answered it. You answered it truthfully. And I'm confused because that's not the conversation you and I had. So all of a sudden now you're like, I don't want more kids because I already have 6 kids. So go on and be with your 6 kids with Kelly. Now that response to me was weird because I'm like, you already knew. I mean, you made the decision to be with him after he told you that he had 6 kids. And you had to have known that most of them were children. And you chose to be with him, which is fine. Because you felt like you didn't have any other options and you want to find love. And this is the first decent guy you found. He's not into drugs. He's not into like fraud. He's not into anything. I mean, he's into fraud, but not the legal kind of fraud. He's into just being a lying and a faker. So I feel that the fact that she's still with him in the spring or in the summer, at this point, she's a grown-ass woman making grown-ass woman decisions. And why would she want to have more children with a man who already has a bunch? Now, here's the truth. Kelly is young. She's like in her late 20s. So it's not like she needs to have kids with Sean right now in order to like solidify anything or in order for her to, I don't know. She doesn't need to have kids right now. She should just be worrying about like figuring out her life and, I don't know, getting her medical degree, not medical degree, but becoming like a medical assistant or whatever it is that people do. Like she needs to figure out where her next step financially is and job wise is before she thinks about having another kid. Don't you think? Like you just got out of prison. You didn't take care of the 6-year-old that you have now because you were in prison. And now are you just like eager to do it all over again? How is Abby going to feel if you have more kids? She's barely got any time with you. Like spend time cultivating a relationship with Abby. Give Abby a good 2 years to be with her mom before you think about having kids. Like I don't get that urgency to do so because she's still young. And also he still has other kids he has to take care of. Why don't you let it so that his other kids are at least a certain age before, let him have like maybe 3 kids out of the house, 3 kids over 18 before, you add another kid to the mix. I mean, basically he's going to be taking care of kids for the rest of his life, but that's what he's chosen. I just feel like the gaslighting makes me mad. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I wish, because his gaslighting and his lying is so intuitive and it's something that he's been doing for all of his life, that he's unable to stop himself when he's going down the path of adamantly refuting that something just happened when the other person says they did. He goes to the point where he starts to gaslight them and make them feel bad and say triggering things like obviously. Well, obviously I didn't mean that. How was she supposed to know? How is it obvious that you didn't mean that? You're using that word inappropriately. Okay? Just because you say obviously doesn't mean that anything you just said was obvious. And you answered the question. Well, I didn't understand the question. Okay, so then why did you answer the question correctly if you didn't understand it? Well, I don't know what I was saying just now. But that's not what I meant. I meant that I obviously want to have tons of children with you. I thought they asked me something else. I don't know what I thought they asked me. You're not in a court of law right now. You're talking to somebody that you love and that you want to create a relationship with. You're not talking to a lawyer who you're trying to like confuse and bamboozle. And like I truly feel that Sean deserves that punishment of whenever he's about to lie or gaslight, that two thugs appear out of nowhere. Okay, I want these thugs to be tall, I want them to be big and wide, and I want them to wear black trench coats. And I want them to both run up on him, grab him up by his shoulders. I want one to get one shoulder, one to get the other shoulder, put him up against a wall and have a fist to his face and say, "What just happened, Sean?" And have him be like, "Well, I didn't." "What happened, Sean?" "Well, I heard." "What happened, Sean?" "Okay, I said what I felt. I'm sorry." Every time. So that behavior can just be rooted out of his soul. Because he will always gaslight. He is going to always lie. He's going to always do that because that is his natural inclination. And the only way to get him to stop doing that is a lot of money in therapy or the mystical thugs. And I vote mystical thugs. What did you say, Sean? I said what I said, and I meant it, and I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings about that, and I haven't. Okay, then the thugs disappear. But as soon as he's about to fix his false teeth tube lie, the thug punches him. Because that's the only way to get that man to stop. Oh my God, you guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna meet somebody. All right, you guys. So that is the end of this. That is the end of this recap. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and supporting me and supporting the channel. Again, if you would like to give, please do so down below. Otherwise, you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for everybody who's in the room today. Yes, Trini Gal, I did choose violence today. And I heard Sean has a child the same age as Abby. Well, listen, he's going to be paying things a lot, okay? Oh, a shock collar for being in public. Girl, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Can it be a mystical taser instead? No, I think the visual of two men grabbing you up by your shoulders and pushing you up against a hard surface and being like, "What'd you say, Sean?" It's great. It's great visual. May it be a sexy French man that you're meeting. Have fun. Oh, I'm going to Mohawk territory. And I told him I'd be there at 1, so I gotta go. All right. And it's 12:30 right now, so I gotta hit the road, Jack. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. Y'all have a fantastic day. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.